Hi, this is David Consumer. This video is about running Ray poketrack on your Steam Deck, but it should mostly apply to any old cheap Linux device. They all pretty much work the same, and the software has been optimized to take advantage of the hardware as much as it can. So it should mostly work good. Okay, so the first step, we want to add it to this launcher here in SteamOS. And so the first step is to press the Steam button and go to Power, and then switch to Desktop. And now we're in like a normal desktop Linux, and we have to wait a second for Steam to pick up the mouse mapping. So it's been loaded. I don't know what this is. It's some kind of error I get every time I go into desktop mode. I probably set something up wrong, but anyway. So, all right. So now we have like basically a normal desktop system. At this point, use any browser. It doesn't really matter if you have Firefox or Chrome. I think Chrome is... you can automatically launch it or install it from the launcher, so it might be a good choice, but it doesn't really matter what browser you use. And then here, type or press X to get your keyboard, and then type github.com/consumer and press enter. And so this is my page. And if you go to repositories, find Ray poketrack. It's at the top right now because I just committed to it, but you might have to like search through it. I found that it's just easier than typing it, but you could also just type this whole URL if you want. Okay, and then scroll down to releases. And on the latest release, you want the one that just has dash Linux. That's the x86-64 version, which is what the Steam Deck is, and it'll work great. For other devices, there's a regular ARM64, which is like the desktop version that gets... it's optimized for like Wayland or X Windows if you are using like a desktop system on your device. But then there's also DRM, which can run without X Windows or anything else. Like for example, the Pi has DRM drivers for like it can do OpenGL directly from the frame buffer. So that's what that is. A lot of the cheap like Anbernic handhelds, they might work with DRM, and if they do, then it'll be a bit more optimized, so it's a little better. But anyway, so for the Steam Deck, we pick dash Linux, that version. And it's going to download over here. And if we click the little folder, we can see it here. So I'm going to right click, which is this trigger up here. And I'm going to say extract and extract here. So this extracts the Ray poketrack file. And this file can pretty much go anywhere. You could even leave it in downloads if you want. But I like to put anything that I run on my Steam Deck that's like some random thing that I run. I put it in a folder called applications. So I'm going to cut this and I'm going to go to home. Boy, lots of stuff. Applications. And then I'm going to right click and paste one file. So now we've got Ray poketrack in here. So the next step is to set up Steam for the launcher. So if we go to library, and add a game, add a non-Steam game, browse, and then change the filter to all files, and then go to that folder that we downloaded it to. So let's go to applications, and there it is, Ray poketrack. So that's what it is. Add selected program, and now we have to find it. So one thing you can do is you can press this thing, but I don't think it even does recent properly. I don't think it adds like non-Steam games to recent. So this might not even work. But if you scroll down through installed locally, they're in alphabetical order, so you can find Ray poketrack. It's annoying the first time, but it'll show up in a sec. I'll show you. So if we scroll down and find Ray poketrack, jeez, so many games. It's up here a little bit. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here we have this. Now, there's a couple things. So if we play this now, it won't be in full screen. So let's fix that first. Properties and and I'm gonna set the start in folder. I have a folder for music stuff. I'm gonna switch to that. So the reason for that is like whatever folder you choose, that's where it starts. So when you do the file browser, I like to have as few clicks as possible to get into my files, right? When I'm in the tracking mode. So I just set it to be whatever folder I use. And then in launch options, press X to get a keyboard and type -- all one word, full screen. And that'll launch it in full screen mode, which it's like a really small little screen. So if you do full screen, it looks better and it fills up the screen. I just do that because I wanted it to support like lots of different devices and look good on like really crappy little devices. So it works really good if you do full screen, basically for all these like handheld devices where you don't want the window. And then I also turned off the Steam overlay. Just because I don't want it to like pop up stuff while I'm like performing. And then, okay, so I close this. And then there's one other step. This is totally optional, but if you go into the controller and you go into community layouts, you can find Ray poketrack by consumer. That's me. And this is it's basically just a joystick, but I've also mapped the top triggers to start and select, but they're opposite of where start and select are. So what it means is, see how this is right by the D-pad? This is select, and since you're always switching screens, it's actually way easier to use the trigger plus that to like switch screens. And then this stays like, this stays start, but you can also use the trigger for start if you want. And you know, that's like the play button, right? So, okay, so apply layout, and you'll see it listed there. So that's everything for adding it. And then let's like play it once, just so it puts it at the top of the list. So I'll hit play, and we can test it, and you can see Ray poketrack works, and that's great. So when you're in desktop mode, there is no like Steam button to exit, which is kind of annoying. So if you go again, press the trigger up here, and then go to the right, and you can go here and you can go to exit, and that will exit out. Okay, so now that's at the top. All right, so let's reboot into gaming mode and see how it looks. So return to gaming mode. And it takes like a sec to boot, but you'll see it's pretty awesome. Okay, now since we ran this last, obviously I was playing sticks before, but since we ran this last, it's at the top, so it's easy to find. Everything's all set up for it, so now if we go into it, it should just run perfectly. Now, there's a couple other options, a couple other little features that I added to make it run better on like non-keyboard devices. One is the save dialog. So also keep in mind, the stuff you see on the screen is the Nintendo layout for buttons. So things are actually switched, which is a bit annoying. You could fix that in the key mapping thing if you want. But essentially, I like it always to just be this is okay, even though it's B, you know? And so let's do Select B to cancel. Okay. So anyway, so just keep that in mind. It might say on the screen like press A, but you really have to press B or whatever, or X or Y. So here's an example of something that I did just for non-keyboard devices like the Steam Deck. So if I try and save a file and I'm in this folder, if I hit Y, or sorry, again, it's reversed. So if you hit X on the Steam Deck, you get this dialog. Now, song is the default there, and that is the default song that is loaded when it first starts. So if you want a startup song, just save that. And whatever you save in song will auto-load. But you can also set it to anything. Let's do a suggest. So this means very little typing, and I get funny names that may be hard to remember, but I don't have to type anything, which is nice. And you might notice in save, it's in home deck music, and that's because that's where I set it to start. So that's helpful for that. Whatever folder you set it to is like where it's going to go. So anyway, once we're done, let's hit OK. So I think it worked. Let's check. So I'm going to make a quick kick drum here, and I do this in basically every video. And we're going to make a little on-4 pattern. Here we go. And you can hear it right there. So that's our pattern. So let's check and make sure that that works. So if we go back to the save dialog and click save, and here I'm gonna press X and suggest, and this one's called Crime Riot Muffin. Perfect. So I saved it. And then to make sure it works, let's exit the program and just see if we can load it back up again. So I will exit game, and I'll reload it. Now you can see it's totally empty. There's nothing in there. So if we go over here and we say load, and we go to Crime Riot Muffin, and go back up to the pattern, there it is. So that's it. Hopefully that all makes sense. I don't know. Have fun.